Greetings, everyone. Welcome to my review for A Nightmare on Elm Street 7 film collection, now available from Warner Brothers. Apologies for my review coming after release, but I had to wait on my review copy to arrive from Warner Brothers. Thanks to them, Michael, for sending that to me. Appreciate it. There is a steelbook version. That is not what they sent to me. It's a really cool looking steelbook set, which each film getting its own steelbook in a nice case. Those are sold out and going astronomical on eBay. So the only way I'll own that is if one cool ass listener says, "I love you so much, Brandon. I want you to be the happiest person. I'm sending you this extra one I have." That's the only way. And no, you don't need to do that. Thanks. But yeah, Nightmare on Elm Street coming to you now. Well, not coming to you. It's here. 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray. Before we get to that, let's go down memory road with the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise. Unfortunately, I was a silly bastard, and I had them all on VHS when I was growing up, including the 2-tape VHS set that I liked a lot. That was cool. It had the original film in widescreen, its original theatrical aspect ratio, and the second one had bonus features, which included one of my favorite deleted scenes where Nancy's mom tells her that her and her friends all had older siblings that Freddy had killed, and they were the ones who killed them. And I was like, and forever, because I got rid of that tape, thought I had made it up in my head. I'm like, I swear I saw a scene like that. It wasn't until later, with a later DVD or Blu-ray release of the film, that actually came to fruition. So the only ones actually, because I forgot them at like my parents' house moving and stuff, that I didn't get rid of, that I still have for VHS, is the Video Treasures media. What are they called? Yeah, just media of Freddy's Revenge, which has this cover, which is not the poster. It came out on home video. And then Nightmare on Street 4, The Dream Master. Those are the only ones I still have on VHS. Again, Video Treasures Media. I think this is back when, the studios were sending them to other places. They didn't care about the home video market. Now, one of my favorite releases of all time, one of the best box sets for movies ever released on any format, is definitely the Nightmare on Elm Street set when it came on DVD, the collection. And I've done a video for this. I did a throwback unboxing where we talked about this one early in the Brandon Peters Show age. This set is awesome. It has all the movies. It doesn't have different cuts, but it has this encyclopedia. It's got so much bonus features. It's a wonderful, wonderful thing to have. This remains like a staple of how to do home video stuff the right way. So, but I want to point out that before we go to Blu-ray, which is much slimmer than what the DVD era had, the DVD era, that box set is the last one released while New Line was its own studio and not owned by Warner Brothers. The first one Warner Brothers put out was the Blu-ray, and this one, so you'll notice I have the UK edition of it, because for a while, the UK was getting the box sets before the United States, or even in lieu of the United States not getting them. Box sets such as Nightmare on Elm Street were out. This one I think I bought like a year or two before it came out in the United States. You could get it from the UK, region free. The bonus features are a little tricky, but that's okay. And then Lethal Weapon came out over there first, and the Police Academy movies had a box set forever there before they came here. So this set, I know it's a reviled set. I thought it was all right. The movies share discs, and I'm not sure every one of them ended up coming out individually outside the set. I know 2 and 3 did, but I'm not sure if 4 and 5 are to Blu-ray. You'll have to check me on that. I didn't think to look that one up real quick before I talked on this, but lazy reviewer. But we're not here to review this set. This one, though, includes bonus features as well as the DVD does that aren't going to make it to the 4K set. So these are like worth holding on. I'll mention up top, there's 2 episodes from Freddy's Nightmares that are on here They're not on the new set. But it is what it is. I held on to this. These were fine for me. They could have done better, for sure. But these came out before things changed. And what I mean things changed, one of the biggest game changers and a must-own. So your 4K set, if you don't have this, is not complete. If you don't own Never Sleep Again, this is one of the best documentaries, one of my favorite documentaries, period, but maybe the best documentary about making films in a film series. And it completely, I feel, inspired the likes of your Scream Factory and Arrow Video and those kind of blunt, honest interviews and confessionals that people give in these, going through, I mean, this is a 3-hour, I think it's 3 hours or 4 hours documentary of going through each film, giving each film its due, its time, and bringing all the people back. I think the first film didn't have Ronnie Blakely because I think they kind of alluded that somebody showed up to do an interview, was shitty to everybody in the crew, and they just said, get out of here. Don't know if it's her, but she's not on here. So yeah, this is a must-have. You have to, like, when I go through my Elm Street marathon, this is part of the family. This gets included. This is an incredible thing. If you've not seen it, check it out. It's awesome. There's also kind of, I would call it a spin-off movie of this, the Scream Queen, which is Mark Patton, his story, which includes a lot of Elm Street 2 stuff and him going on his journey, because this movie is the reason we found, he was found, and he did conventions for a good long time, for a good while, and was able to tell his story and came out of his shell, and we learned about him because he was missing. Like he told, I met Mark Patton many moons, about 15 years ago. One of the nicest people I've ever met in a convention or celebrity stuff like that. I talked to him with my sister for a long time, and he told us that a private investigator that the documentary hired found him in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico, where he owned an art gallery. And that's where he came back and decided to talk and found this new stuff. And Mark Patton, also so awesome. He felt like this like lost uncle almost, because he would always like wish me a happy birthday and like holidays. It was kind of cool. So yeah, Mark Patton, pretty awesome guy. Thank you to Never Sleep Again for finding him. And also, what's not included in this is the remake has not been included in any format jumps. This is still not available in 4K Ultra HD. That's not in here. I would like a special edition of this because there is an alternate opening that they haven't shown that would be neat to check out. Or maybe if there's a work print of this one, be nice to see. But I'm not a fan of this movie, but I'm fascinated. And also, Freddy vs. Jason, not included in here. Arrow Video did Jason Goes to Hell, Jason X, and the remake of Friday the 13th, that Platinum Dunes one, but no Freddy vs. Jason. So I had assumed that Freddy vs. Jason was going to go in this set, the 4K set. It's not there. So I don't know what happened. I don't know what's going on there. But they kept it to the real deal New Line Freddy Krueger without, New Line, I think, yeah, they weren't Warner Brothers when Freddy vs. Jason came out. So I don't know what's up with Freddy vs. Jason. Hopefully that comes to 4K as well. And it feels like our bud Jason has stopped with his film. So if you're keeping track of all the killers and whatever on 4K, of the famous slasher villains, we're getting to this set. I'm sorry. This is just a big deal for me, and I really wanted to take my time with this set, and this is going to be probably a longer video. It already is. So Jason, we have the ones I mentioned, and then Friday the 13th and Friday the 13th Part 2. I'd have thought the third one was coming. It didn't. Also, Paramount Scares didn't release a third volume this October of where they hid the second one. So, don't know. That's where Jason's at. Got a lot of Paramount ones, especially 5 through Manhattan, have not been given a makeover in a long time, and it'd be nice to see those get new transfers. And then Michael Myers. The Rob Zombie contributions are still on standard Blu-ray. And I know his second one was shot in 16mm film, so that might be it for the Blu-ray of it. So What you want to do on that one is there's of course, the Scream Factory collection had it all, but you can buy the director's cut on Blu-ray, and then in Canada, there's a double feature with the first one and the second one for Rob Zombie, and both of them are the theatrical cuts, so you get both versions. I prefer the director's cut of the second one and the theatrical cut of the first one, so if you're asking me that. Now, Freddy, obviously, Freddy vs. Jason and the remake are left to go. So that's your status updates. Leatherface is getting around there. Chucky has all his movies on 4K, but his TV series is on standard Blu-ray. So technically, I think Chucky's a winner there, but nonetheless, let's get to Freddy. Let's talk about this set. This comes with a slipcover. I have the standard edition. I mentioned that steelbook. Who's sending it to me? Earlier. So here's the trick. My copy came from me from Warner Brothers. Thank you to Michael for it. I had to wait. There was a delay in the review copies, and there's a difference. And this might be because it's like a second pressing or something, but mine comes with a black Emery case. When I saw the ones that people ordered from retailers and stuff, it came with a red one. So that's what we have here. It comes with a digital code to redeem all 7 films plus the uncut of the original and Dream Child, so it says 9 film collection, but it's really 2 of them are different versions of it. Inside, you'll find a single pair of 3D glasses for Freddy's Dead, The Final Nightmare. I don't know why a single pair. They must think that Freddy's Dead is a lonely watch or whatnot. Here we go. These are the shades for Freddy's Dead, The Final Nightmare. They look different than the ones that were included on the DVD set. Blu-ray did not have the 3D. So every film is given its own disc here. And sorry if it's upside down or whatever, but there we go. So go through. Now, I want to mention, mine had all New Nightmare. The disc had to be cleaned on the bottom because there was all that film oily mess stuff about the stuff that they finish these discs with, and they don't let them dry long enough, and then it sits in here and combusts, and like it was all over. So I had to, luckily it played fine, not gonna complain, but like that's what happened on this one. So let's go. A film by film route for this series. Now at the top, because this covers all across all the boards, the video for these is finally back to 185:1, the original theatrical aspect ratio. The Blu-ray set had them at 178. That's back. They're encoded with their video encoding's HEVC H.265 and is presented in 4K 2160p. Audios for all these have the English Dolby Atmos, also a English 2.0 DTS master audio, lossless for the original audios. I know with my last Elm Street video, people are like, "Well, they fixed it." I am not the guy who went and like my memory and stuff for like. I'm a huge fan of these. I am, love them, seen them a bunch. But these audio things that a lot of people picked up on and were having me check out, I wasn't pervy to. They didn't bother me. I appreciate it. I had a lot of fun checking them out and updating for you. But when we go through these other films, I have not done that. If you want me to check on something, then list below, or there might be a video that has covered it for the other films, original mixes and stuff, and the Atmos picking up on these things. So I will be covering pretty much the Dolby Atmos stuff because they want me to check the surround sound on these. So just letting you know. Other audios on every film are French, German, both Castilian and Latin American Spanish, as well as Italian. Subtitles for all of the films are English SDH, French, German SDH, Italian, Japanese, Spanish, and Dutch. Both Spanishes, by the way. And then, in terms of bonus features, none of the trailers have been carried over. No trailers on this at all. And then, all the music videos with the exception of Dawkins' Dream Warriors, gone. So you'll want to hold on to that. Also, the 2 episodes, as I mentioned, of Freddy's Nightmares, gone. And there's other little things. I think the MTV appearances in there. I'm not sure. But so they didn't carry over. They have 3 new featurettes, but they did not carry over certain things. So yeah, it's the old maybe they don't have the licensing for them anymore or something happened. We don't know. We just know that they're gone. And I was here to help you with that. So when we get to the first film, I want to let you know, and I'm going to put a link in my description. This is the original film is the same disc as this one from last year. Nightmare on Elm Street 4K debut. I'm not going to sit and go over it again. I will cheat and tell you my scores. Film 4, video 5, audio 4.5 out of 5, extras 4 out of 5. That's what I gave that. Check the link in the description if you want to hear me talk more about the original film. And then I'll also put the corrections video there too for you. How's that? How's that sound? Okay, let's move on to A Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2, Freddy's Revenge. This movie, I am just wonderfully amused with, fascinated with it. It's a fun movie for all certain aspects. It's a smarter movie than given credit. And this is just a blast to watch. It's a party movie. Like, you can do a lot with this movie. This is the second film that was, rushed into production after the first one is this surprise hit movie. And I think the appropriate thing is they weren't quite sure what they had with the movie or why it was as successful as it was. It's evident. The score isn't there. It's kind of got a generic ass score. Doesn't bring back themes. They originally said sayonara to Robert Englund. They're like, yeah, we'll just do someone else. And after a little bit, they're like, oh, we can't do that. They really realized he was important. So Freddy is and isn't in this one a lot. I do like his performance as Freddy and the makeup as Freddy. Like, it's a really dark, awesome. I like this Freddy in this movie. The movie is silly in part. I mean, there's some camp to it. And I think because this one's the one that's like, hey, did you know it's secretly a gay allegory story? Yeah. But the thing is, there's incidental stuff in here. Knowing all the production, there's incidental stuff in here, and there's some brilliant stuff in here that's kind of telling this tale. And Mark Patton's all in. I love that. Everybody's in. Shoulder's good. Shoulder, with the new transfer, I noticed stuff he was doing that I didn't really recognize before. The interior, so the house, the former Thompson house, in the first one, it looks it's the same house, but it's different here. So it feels like it's supposed to be this 1950s bright, Americana, look at this perfect household, and I think he's trying to tear it apart, is what Jack Shoulder is trying to do, his comments on here. Klugelager, he's that 80s, out of touch with my son kind of guy. It very much feels like the dad from Stranger Things, the Wheeler's dad, and he's constantly blaming his son on it being drugs, while the mom's like, no, this is something else. He needs to talk to somebody. But the home life stuff, for some reason on this view, became more apparent, more impressive in this one, and especially with how he was lighting it and trying to make it a different type of thing. Kind of sort of thing that Tim Burton takes a spin on. Jack Shoulder here is a solid director. Check out Alone in the Dark if you haven't, which kind of got him this job. And then The Hidden, which is a really cool cult 80s gem that should be visited by more people. The movie is got some craziness. There's laughter's fine because it's kind of screwy. It's kind of really scary in parts. And the idea here where it's like, well, the first one works because it's like everybody dreams that's unique about this. And then this one's like, what if Freddy came out and was like anybody else, like, in the real world. But it actually is a bigger movie than a lot of these. Yeah, a lot of these with the new transfers, the depth improves, and these look a lot bigger than they ever did before. And the stuff at the construction boiler site they visit is wildly impressive for how low rent the film is. I gotta say that. That's really cool. But I do like A Nightmare on Elm Street 2, Freddy's Revenge. I give it a 2.5. You could study this movie, but you could also have a party and everybody drinking some beers and stuff and laugh and have a good time in the movie. It's so two different ends of the spectrum here that work for it. The new transfer on it, I give it a 4.5 out of 5. Color is impressive. He has different color timings to match something. Like, it's a very bright movie compared to the rest of the Elm Street movies. Really well lit and stuff, but when it gets dark and evil, it hits really good too. And there's good shadow work here. The black levels are strong. Details better than ever. Like I said, the depth is the most important thing that happens through all these movies. And yeah, I give the video transfer 4.5 out of 5. The Atmos track is a 4 out of 5. It's a little bit low. And when I watch these movies, I marathon these because I was wanting to get this review up and it's late. So I've watched a lot of Elm Street in the last day and a half. But it's a little low. It's good nuanced stuff. They don't play too hard in the speakers, and the impact on things doesn't hit quite well, but this is a strong track. It's very airy, gives it some more space, and some of the better than the 5.1s we've had in the past. So yeah, the extras carried over. No new ones on this disc. Freddy on 8th Street, Heroes and Villains, The Male Witch, and Psychosexual Circus. Those are here. That I'll give an all around extras toward the end here. It's okay. These are decent, but no Mark Patton, no good. A lot of actors don't appear on these aside from Robert Englund. It's usually crew people that are on these bonus features. Sorry, this is my notes over here. So if you're like, what is he doing? So, okay. We'll move on to Nightmare on Elm Street 3, Dream Warriors. One of the greatest horror films of the 1980s, one of the best horror sequels of all time, one of the best slasher films of all time, one of the most imaginative movies of the 80s. I love Dream Warriors. It's awesome. That movie, I'm just up top, 4.5 out of 5. Has the best teen cast of characters in any 80s horror movie. This one's really cool. Chuck Russell, and this is what we needed. Like, Wes Craven had something, and before this movie, the dream sequences were all like normal, like outside my house, but Freddy's there, or this little thing happens where I live and stuff. This one actually starts opening up the imagination and running with it with different like character traits and settings, and it's really cool and goes big theatrical, gives Freddy much more monster, like, oh look, his powers aren't just like, oh look, my arms go long. And it's pretty cool. I'm gonna put this down for a sec. But yeah, Dream Warriors rocks. I don't know what more to say on it. It is such a fun movie to go through. It's a blast. Every time I watch this, it's a joy. And fun fact, like, it also has one of my favorite posters of all time, which no matter where I live, wherever decorated, that sucker still there. I always put it up. I love the Dream Warriors poster. Such a good movie. I don't know what I can put on top of it with anyone else. It balances the line of a pun James Bond type Freddy, where kill someone, says something, with the horror and the deviousness of him. Awesome. And it's got a Harryhausen skeleton fight. What more is there like? I cannot praise Dream Warriors any more than I have already. It's a 4.5 out of 5 from me. The series high. And the video is awesome. Really good stuff. This one is where we start seeing a little bit more of the HDR taking effect, with like little lights and little spots and windows, fire of hell and things like that coming across. And I give the video 4.5 out of 5. I also give the audio is a little bit better here. It's a 4.5 out of 5. And the extras Oh yeah, the audio, yeah, much more impact. You get more whirlwind action. I think the movie lends itself a little bit more to the surround sound. But you get like breaking glass from all over the room and shattering and stuff, and it's terrific stuff here. The extras that they carry over, it's the behind the story thing. So it's a multi-part feature that's like a behind the scenes, quite good. And then the Dokken Dream Warriors music video, which is a must. It's a must. The song kicks ass still to this day. I always carry it with me. Funny thing, when I host the podcast stage at PopCon, I play music between acts or in the morning before the stage opens. Dream Warriors, always in the mix for the weekend. Always, because it's that cool. Okay, so next, we will go with Nightmare on Elm Street 4, Dream Master. First up, Lisa Wilcox, age-old crush, awesome girl. Met her long ago. Shout out, she's awesome. Star of the next two movies. But so I think Dream Master, while they do the sin of like, here's your heroes from last time, now they're dead. I still think this one is stylishly elite. Rennie Harlin comes in hungry. This is his first film in the United States for studio, and this has, I feel like this is the Rocky IV of Nightmare on Elm Street, where it's style over substance. There's not a lot going on here. I do like Alice's little journey, but this one is big in a way it hasn't been before, going for it in terms of dream logic, dream effects, set pieces. Like, I feel like, I always said about this one too, like every time Freddy kills someone in this, it feels like someone hit a code on Mortal Kombat for a fatality, because like everything like goes and just like changes, like lighting changes, there's a music sting, it's kind of funny like this. Now this one is the one where, you know, Harlan said Freddy's the star, so this is his movies, and that's kind of what he does. But it also has an action factor to it that's pretty cool. But yeah, this is very music video cool and done at a high level. Very stylish. Elm Street 4 is awesome. I'll take a pause here to tell you, back on my Naptown Nerd blog, so if you go to naptownnerd.blogspot.com, I did a November on Elm Street one year where I wrote in depth about all these movies. You can go check it out. Now, back to the review. All right, so A Nightmare on Elm Street 4, Dream Master, the video. This is the peak of the set. This is the best video and audio presentation. I'm giving both of them 5s. The video is pristine. All these films have carried their grain. They don't look scrubbed. They don't look DNR'd. And I believe most of the directors sat and approved their new transfers. I know Shoulder did, and I know Talalay did. Chuck Russell's on the bonus feature, so I imagine he sat in too. This one, like the lights, there's like bright like neons and things like that, all just sting, brazier. Oh, it is so awesome to look at. This one lends itself to it, and really the depth is incredible. This movie feels huge, and I love that. And then the audio here kicks up. It's loud, and it hits. The subwoofer is put to some good work. The surround effects are a little louder. Everything just comes in chorus and has a nice spacey feel to it. And this one rocks. This is the best presentation of any of all the M Street films in this set. Maybe the first one competes, but Dream Master, that's the height of it. The extras it carries over are the Finish Line, Krueger Freddy Krueger, Hopeless Chest, and Let's Make Up. No, unfortunately, we still don't have Tuesday Night performing Running from This Nightmare live. That's unfortunate. Okay, next, I'll go to Nightmare on Elm Street 5, The Dream Child. Now, this is a movie that I know fellow Elm Street fans and stuff, they down. I defend it, and I think it's just as good as Dream Master. I give Dream Master a 3. I give this one a 3. They are good and problematic. It's a weird thing. Dream Child, I have defended. I think the biggest problem with Dream Child is Freddy himself. They have the right movie, but the wrong Freddy. If the Freddy from Nightmare on Elm Street 2 was a Freddy in this one, I think we'd be talking about one of the best Freddy movies of all time. I really like that this movie has something else to say. There's a great story going on with the teen characters in the background. I think it's a good commentary on the parental pressure about growing up, what the hell I want to be when I grow up, figuring yourself out after high school. As a younger person, you don't appreciate this stuff, but as an older person, I've come to like it. Alice going through her drama of being pregnant and having to make this, the decision as a child, has one of my favorite lines when she asked her dad, "Are you disappointed in me?" He said, "No." And he's like, and then he talked about, "I hope it's a boy. It'd be nice to have a little boy or in this house again." And that's like reference to her brother who was killed by Freddy in the previous one. That's awesome. And Stephen Hopkins has a really gothic tone he's taken with this. This one goes back to the places of the third one with the monastery and like all that, the mental hospital. Really goes for it in the gothic tone. This one also now has its uncut version. So I believe there's VHS trims of this scene before, like a work print. They have found it. They've restored it. It looks good. Most of it comes in Dan's death. There's some other little spots here. The movie's a minute longer, so it's just really like a lot of gore inserts. There's not like a full scene or anything added back in. But there's Super Freddy here, which it's an imaginative scene and impressive for low rent Elm Street movies. Doing the Take On Me video, like, oh, I'm sucked in. That's kind of awesome. I'm sorry. And the way they shot the Super Freddy thing's impressive. I think this movie is good. I'm sorry. I know this is my controversial Elm Street take, but I like Dream Child. Will Cox is even better in here. And yeah, give it another shot. Open your mind. Take a little look at it. I know it's hated. All right. So I give this one's transfer a 4.5 out of 5. I give the Atmos a 5 out of 5. It's another rock and Atmos track. And then the bonus features we get, the Behind the Story, which is a big, long, multi-part featurette. Gone are our music videos that used to be here. Sorry. All right, now we'll go to Freddy's Dead, The Final Nightmare, directed by Rachel Talalay, who we love Rachel Talalay on this show. She's a proclaimed, she goes on to make some cool horror movies. Tank Girl does some of the best Doctor Who with Peter Capaldi. Yeah, all in all, cool person. She also wrote the foreword for the book I'm in, coming out on October 18th. Freddy's Dead. Never been the biggest fan of this one. And the funniest thing I noticed when going through the set, when going from Dream Child to Freddy's Dead, is watching the landscape of the music industry completely upend from like way old school game show host sounding hip hop, hair metal, like to Goo Goo Dolls and grunge throughout this one. It's like, whoa, life changed. And it's pretty funny. But this movie, if any of them improved the most on this watch, it was Freddy's Dead. And it might have been because the transfer on this thing, I'm going to shoot right to that video. The transfer on this one, which I think they've done Rachel Talalay dirty since DVD, I guess, because this one, I think they were making it too bright before or something, but this one gets darker and there's a lot more style to it and it feels a lot more focused and with a vision than I've ever thought before. I was pretty impressed. It looks good. And I thought this was a movie that didn't look good before. On 4K, I'm like, Freddy's Dead. It looked pretty good. I still have my problems with it and stuff, but man, it's more watchable than ever before. I know I'm not saying it's like great now or something or secretly great, but I enjoyed it. This one's quite goofy, but there's some fun set pieces. It's fun to hang with Robert Englund. Lisa Zane, fun. She's all right here. It's interesting to watch. Interesting batch of teens. I like this, like 10 years down the road, weird setting, very, everything at this point, it's early 90s is trying to catch that Twin Peaks vibe. They even mentioned Twin Peaks in this to be like that. But the 3D at the end, I did it with the 3D. It goes between awesome and then broken. Like some of it looks really good, and then some of it, like you can still see the blue and red separated. It wasn't working quite quite as it should, but always fun to try that nonetheless, because it's only the last like 10 to 15 minutes of this movie that are in 3D, so it's not like you're stuck like Friday the 13th Part 3 with blue and red trying to make it work. No. So, Friday the Final Nightmare, I think this one, while I gave Part 4 the pinnacle of presentation, I think this one has improved the most from the 4K uplift than any other Elm Street movie. So I'm giving it a 5 because they've really done it over nice. It's got great shade, shadow, darkness. It's got some really cool detail in like the chalk on the sidewalk and everything else. Pretty awesome. And then the audio, 4.5 out of 5. It's better than like 2 and stuff like that. The music really hits the bass pretty well with the subwoofer, the lower tones, and then wind and things coming through all around. The Atmos track is utilized quite well. You get things coming from the top, and yeah, it's a fun one to look at. It also comes with the bonus features of 86th, Hellraiser, Rachel's Dream, and 3D Demise. These are carried over. And now, the last film in the set. And trivia, the first R-rated horror film I ever saw in the theater, Wes Craven's New Nightmare. A movie I was ahead of the curve on liking, because I know people didn't like it at first, but this is a smart movie. It's a fun experiment. I really do enjoy it. There was a time where I held it up higher, but I've kind of come down a little bit on it. But this is some silly stuff. It wasn't the first like it though. Lucio Fulci made a movie that was very meta like this about himself. But Wes Craven's New Nightmare, Heather Langenkamp as herself with her son Dylan. It very much, going through it this time, carries a lot of hangover of the Satanic Panic with it, with the way people treat her. Like, does your son watch your movies? Or you were in those movies, Miss Langenkamp. It still had that stigma on horror that was like, you're devilish if you watch horror. You bring that evil in this house. That type of thing. So that's still there. That was kind of crazy. But it's got some lively set pieces. Craven goes for it. The new look of Freddy is, I think, cool. Even, leather pants. Go for it. I like the trench coat. It has tributes, callbacks to the originals. It's a very fun movie, and I really like how it goes. And it goes back to roots of like grim fairy tales and tried to fit Freddy in there. It's cool stuff. So I give the movie is a 4 for me. Freddy's Dead, I give a 2, by the way. Previous. Sorry, I forgot to do that. So we go to the transfer. This is great because 90s movies always had the damnedest time looking good on Blu-ray, but now with 4K, they're looking a lot better, and New Nightmare is no exception. It's quite good. It feels pretty large. The traffic scene feels large. The layer of the evil that looks like Freddy is there. And yeah, it's really good time. Looking at it, the details, like the walls damage and stuff, and even in the nooks and crannies of the opening where the glove is being made, and you can see the dust and dirt and stuff on the desk, and it's a really good looking picture, giving it a 4.5 out of 5. And then the Atmos track, another 4.5 out of 5. You get stuff like water and Heather falling from above. The finale really kicks it into gear. But the traffic scene is like boom, 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 coming from all the channels, loud, clear, with different volume impacts, so you can feel something traveling far away and stuff, and then good impact from the subwoofer. So yeah, 4 out of 5. Now the bonus here. Everything else is pretty much the name of the game here for New Nightmare. It includes the new featurettes. We'll go over them in a sec, but what the carryover is, it's got the commentary from Wes Craven. It's got Filmmaker, An Insane Troop, The Problem with Sequels, Two Worlds. It's got the multi-part featurette, big making of, called Welcome to Primetime. It's got the other multi-part featurette called Conclusion as well. Now, the new ones, it's got Boiler Room Confessional. This is where the director of photography for New Nightmare. Chuck Russell, Robert Englund, and Jack Shoulder talk about the legacy of Freddy and all this stuff. And it basically turns into Robert Englund show for these. It's like 7.5 minutes. Also, Freddy's Footnotes, the 7.5 minutes, talking about the longevity, like, you know, these things, what happened. And they have certain anecdotes about the movies they were doing as well. And then they have Becoming a Filmmaker, which is a Wes Craven 8-minute sit down, which is taken from the bonus. It's obviously an outtake from the interviews, which the bonus features for the DVD set, where he talks about how he thought he was going to be a writer and stuff like that. So we have gone through this set. This is a long video, folks. If you're still here, thank you. Appreciate that a lot. I really wanted to talk about the Elm Street movies. I like them a lot. And you've probably, and to those of you who've watched a billion of these reviews already and you still watched mine, thank you. Let's go back through this. The Elm Street set. Here we go. We're going to review this. I'm going to go for the series rather than movie by movies. I think it's a 4 out of 5. I think it is one of the best 80s horror franchises and 80s franchises you can find. You should. I have a lot of fun going to them. Maybe it's nostalgia. Check it out. Video, all around, all aboard, 4.5 out of 5. They really put some love into these. The depth is the most important thing I think that happened. A lot of these look more big and full than they ever did before. Audio, 4.5 out of 5. Good Atmos tracks. I think they're all above average, rock solid. Bonus material, 4 out of 5. They have removed stuff. They've added stuff all around. It's a terrific experience, even if you've never picked these up. But this is the first time you pick this up for it. It's got good bonus. But I also recommend you buy Never Sleep Again on Blu-ray or watch it in tandem with it, because that's the ultimate bonus feature. And overall, I'm going to break my own rule because I think it's better than a 4. I give this set a 4.25 out of 5. Elm Street fans, upgrade, pick it up. This is the biggest leap in picture and audio quality you've ever seen from the franchise. That's where the love and care went. That's why you should buy it. Own it as soon as you can. This set's awesome. I love it. I'm very happy with it. Felt like we waited forever for Freddy to come on 4K. Here it is. Packaging wise, yes, I like something cooler than that, but I still have my old DVD set to oogle at and admire and adore. So pick this one up. You can order it from me if you use the code, or not the code, the link in the description. I would greatly appreciate that, as that helps me out with the production of my show and everything else. But hey, I've been keeping you for far too long. Thank you for watching my video. Have a good rest of your evening, day, whenever you're watching this. And as always, stay film positive.